Tell me, you weren't born in Bampton, were you?
No, I was born in Stanlake.
In Stanlake, which
Yeah.
is not a million miles away.
No, and then we moved to Stanton Harcourt
Oh yeah.
in what's called now, I don't know what it's still called then, but it was called Smithy's Cottage. A blacksmith's forge there. Yeah. Alec Claridge.
So that end, so it looks as if it's all one now.
Yeah.
And this end, so it's still got the name Smithy Cottage, but it's all one house.
Yeah.
And you lived at that end?
This in here. Well, this cottage was also a blacksmith's shop, and that. So when I was a small boy, it was brilliant because you were getting the horses coming in, the old smithy, burning the.
Did you do the bellows?
Shoes on. No, it's too small for that.
Oh, too small for the bellows. Like, yes, you watched all that.
And this smithy there, on one occasion, a thunderbolt blew at his feet, sort of blew half some stones and all out, and he came into our house there. As white as a sheet, you know. Alec Claridge, his name was.
That's so rare, isn't it?
Yeah.
It was the thunderbolt that had come into the workshop.
Yeah, explode. Yeah.
Extraordinary. Yeah. Yeah.
Because usually they do sort of lots of damage to roofs and things.
Yes.
If they,
Yes. Really unlucky.
Yeah, I was quite an experience there, and then I moved from there down to Fisher's Bridge.
Oh yeah.
And luckily down there was sort of George Long, the hurdle maker. So apart from watching the smithy, then I was watching a hurdler with his spoke shave and the willows making hurdles.
Yeah.
You know.
Which cottage was he in then at Fisher's Bridge? Not where Ted Dixie is.
Now George Long lived. I think did he live in April Cottage? I think he lived up in April Cottage.
Okay, so that's left-hand side going out, isn't it?
Oh, it's quite a good experience when you're very young, you see.
Yes, watching these things being made.
Yeah, this site we're on now, looking at this fence and seeing those old withy poles and things there. Years ago there used to be a hurdler here to make hurdles. So, I mean, after living next door to someone that was a blacksmith, and then coming here and watching someone make hurdles, and I was a small boy, thinking, well, you know, a lovely thing to do, sort of keep your interest in the country things, you see. But I think he made gates as well, but it was mainly hurdles.
And what did they use the hurdles for?
Well, the hurdles were used mainly for sheep. Yeah, mainly for sheep, and sometimes just for other fencing. Then another thing was we had the chap Doyhorn. He had a little plot of land down where our cottage was. Used to call it his farm. It was only about 3 times the size of this room.
Yes.
Fisher's Bridge. But he was a man that used to make a lot of nets and things.
Nets for fishing.
But mainly in his case for rabbits.
Oh.
So luckily he taught me how to make nets.
Did he? Can you still do it?
Oh, I haven't made any nets for a long, long time. But
Would you remember? Would you remember the knot?
oh yeah.
Yeah.
So it quite a good experience from one thing and another, you know.
Yes.
Getting.
Learning country. It's country law, isn't it? You're
Yeah,
learning,
that's right.
and it's very useful.
Oh yes, right, but yeah, especially if you know how to make nets and you decide to get a ferret and a dong and everything, you can live off the land virtually.
And have you done that? I know you knew where the mushrooms were.
Oh, no.
I know you used to fish in the brook here and get your trout.
Yeah.
So you probably could be quite self-sufficient, couldn't you?
I saw Dr. Cole, wasn't it, that was writing
Yeah.
to me?
Yeah.
And we were talking about this stream with the trout nut in it.
Yeah.
And I did say, and he said, well, you know there was a lot of trout in there. I said, well, I did. Some was caught by rod and line, and some was caught by hand at the bank, you know.
Yeah, so many.
But I mean, it's a shame now that it's sort of sterile now, isn't it?
I think it's sterile, yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame.
The only thing I've seen, and that's down at Millbrook, is the crayfish, the American crayfish is
Yeah,
down
that's
there.
right.
But you used to be able to fish for, I mean, it's an indication you used to be able to fish for the little water shrimp, which of course were feeding the bigger things. Yeah. So why? Do you know why? Why would it be so sterile now?
Well, I think the only water that comes down there now is sort of what's used that comes out of the bath and the toilets and all things like that. Well, you know. And then the Americans, of course, they put some what they call gunk in there, sort of a cleaner, and the stream ran like milk.
When was that? Do you remember? 50s.
50. Oh, I can't quite remember.
Yeah, sometime in the 50s.
Yeah.
I can't remember which date they left. Do you remember when they left?
Nope.
No.
Wasn't important enough to remember.
No.
Mid-60s.
No.
Was it mid-60s that they went there? Okay.
Oh yeah, it'd be fairly late, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yes, it's funny to think that they were an American air base, wasn't it, at that time?
But that killed off lots of fish.
Did it?
Loads. Even to the extent of an odd eel or two, which we didn't really know was in the stream, you know. But of course the trout and all the chub and everything. And some we rescued and put in the mill, little piece of water there that was off the board. But of course they'd been poisoned, they died anyway.
Did they? It's a terrible thing to happen.
Yeah, damn shame that was.
Yeah. That would take a long time to recover from that.
Oh yes, it would.
Yeah. So after you lived down at Buckland Road.
After that, wow, great experience. We moved to in 1934. We moved to Aston.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Did you get about?
Yeah, these two houses here, and the three along the road, they were built by Incan and Fruins after the Second World War, around about 1948, and then later on those were developed by another company. But these made a bit of an accident on the kitchen on this house, made the wrong mix to do the floor, which costs a lot of money, use quite expensive cement and things.
Whose fault was it that the wrong mix was done?
Mine, I think.
Well, a long time passed.
But the clerk of the works come out and he spotted it. Oh my God, he said, that's it, very expensive flooring you've put in there. He said, you use the wrong kind of cement, you know, the mix to make the concrete.
So it didn't have to come out again then?
Oh no, they just ended up with a better, more durable floor. I mean, that was in the kitchen there, they got a floor that will last forever. So there for 1 year, and then we back to Bampton.
Well, yes.
In the
was that all to do with work, Roy? What was it? What was all the moving about to? Was it
oh no,
your dad's
this was still when I was at school. You know, that moving about was.
So was it your dad's work?
Yeah, it was moving about because
What did he do?
Well, for a long time he worked on the gravel pits at Stanton Harcourt.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he had various jobs. He worked on the 6MU at the air base.
Yeah.
In the 40s, that was.
Yeah.
But, and he worked in as a agriculture labourer and that sort of thing.
Which farm did he work on?
Well, I don't know. I don't really know
Don't
what
remember.
farms he
No,
really
okay.
worked on. It's.
So have you also moved about Bampton? Did you also move from bit to bit in Bampton, or?
Well, we moved to New Road, 14 New Road.
Yeah.
In 1935.
Oh right.
And that was the end of the moving about then.
Yes. Yes.
That put pay to the moving.
And before that in Bampton, where were you? You said something about Church View. Were you in Church View?
Oh, that was after I got married.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Come out of the Navy. Finish with the war.
Yeah.
Back in Bampton. What did you work at then?
I went back to making some straw rope that was making at Little Clanfield before I went into the Navy, just for a few weeks.
What was straw rope used for?
It's used for packing
okay.
heavy metal pipes and things to stop it cracking.
Yes.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
Are you doing that by? And I can't imagine.
With a machine, proper rope making. Yeah, twisted rope making.
You're feeding the straw in.
Just crude rope. Rough and ready rope.
Yes.
What did I do after that? Oh golly.
Well, that's a job that I don't think exists anymore, does it? Making store rope?
No, not that type of rope.
No.
Anyway, no. And then I worked for Inken and Fruins.
I don't know what they are.
That was a building firm in Oxford.
Yeah.
And after that, I worked for a brick company in, well, let it stand, Brighthampton, the other side of Brighthampton.
Yeah.
That went bust. That one. So.
Did they have kilns there?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, but they were oven type kilns that you with railways that you push the brick.
Okay.
Into. What's now the Oxford Wine Company? This was a brickworks, and it was run by Hudson from Whitney, which was also managed the cinema.
Oh right, cinema in Whitney.
Yeah, the cinema in Whitney. Then, unfortunately, things didn't turn out right, and I think they went bust, sort of thing.
But the cinema?
No, the cinema kept going, but
the brickworks.
Yeah, I think what happened here, the main engine that supplied all the power and everything, I think that collapsed. The bearings all went in one thing and another, and then it just suddenly we were unemployed. We were suddenly unemployed. Yeah. Got here about 8 o'clock in the morning and found out that it had broken down.
But that's
and the kilns used to be further down. They were steam kilns.
Behind where
brick.
this
behind
Oxford wine is
behind
now.
this frontage here.
Yeah.
Yeah, behind this frontage here. And it used to turn out various coloured bricks. In the hoppers where all the sand and the bricks were mixed, someone up top would put a dye in, red or green or yellow. And prior to that, when it was in the hopper, for each hopper we used to put one sack of cement and one shovelful. And on one occasion we sent this hopper up, and the chap put the dye in the top. It went through the machinery into the bricks, into the kiln. The next day or 2 days later, when we went to empty the kiln and push the trolley out with all the bricks on, what happened? They fell to bloody pieces. We hadn't put any cement in. We hadn't put any cement in the mix. All fell in the kiln.
I bet you were popular.
Oh, very popular, yeah.
Could you reuse what was there? Put the cement in and then refire it?
I suppose you could have done that. I don't think they even bothered, you know, because once these hoppers started working, these machines didn't stop, you know, they just kept on producing and producing.
So what happened in the end that they stopped being a brick company?
Well, I think that finance problem.
And did you say there was a fire?
No, the main engine had faults, and I think the bearings and that. Yeah, I think
it was just all too much.
And that would have cost arm and a leg to repair, I think. As far as yeah.
So you got here in the morning and at 8 o'clock?
Come at 8 o'clock and work, you know, and sometimes if you were actually filling the hoppers up, because it was shot down the chute here, you see, all the sand. And then
so that was down here?
Down this frontage, and then you were down there like this, filling the hoppers up, and I think they went up about every 3 or 4 minutes, you see.
Yeah.
So you worked damned hard.
Very much.
Were they electric fired ovens or wood or?
I was electric. Yeah, because the actual plant was run with a big diesel engine. Yeah. And they were going bust, and then the big piece of machinery broke down, the engine, and that sort of put pay to the production, I think.
Yeah.
But my first job actually of leaving school there was going to Compton and Webb's in Whitney. Compton and Webb. They made lots of service uniforms.
Oh yes.
Uniforms and things. And my job was making linings for tin helmets. The lining for yeah. Well, I was there for a week, and the girl come round with the wages, and she got me, it was 17 and sixpence. I thought, well, I'm not cycling 80 miles a week for 17 and sixpence, you know.
Yeah.
And I went down to the manager and he said, well, that's it, it's war work, he said. I said, well, I'm off. He said, you can't, it's war work. I said, war or no war, I'm off.
It's so little, isn't it?
Yeah. And I thought, well, I'm not cycling all that. So, and that's how I come to get that job making the rope.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I sort of jumped the gun there a little
Yes,
bit. But,
yeah, okay.
and then I worked there for 5.5 days a week for 25 shillings a week,
25
you
shillings.
see.
One-
a lot
one
of difference. Whoopee!
Extraordinary, isn't it? Yeah.
But when the brick company collapsed, and I was in dire straits then because it was in the November, and I thought, oh, I'll be unemployed for Christmas. So I dashed back to Bampton, and I went down to see the farm. Went to Mr. Collins,
Yeah.
and see if he got a job. And he said, well, I've got a job, but that's working with the cattle as a herdsman. And I said, well, I didn't particularly want that because it's the sort of thing my father had done in the past, you know. And he said, the only thing is, he said, we're building a new dairy. Have you had any experience of building? I said, well, I work for Incan and Fruins, the builders in Oxfordshire. So I got the job.
Yeah.
This is, you built some of this, did you, Roy?
Yeah, we when I was telling you about the brick company, and it went bust on the 8 o'clock in the morning, I took her back to Bampton and come down here to see Mr. Collins to see if he got any jobs.
Yeah.
Like sugar beetle, anything rather than be unemployed, because it was November. Near to Christmas, I didn't want to be out of work at Christmas time. So I come down, and lucky they were doing this reconstruction, and he said, well, if the builders have got a job for you, you can start work. And anyway, I come along, we had a job at 1 o'clock.
And that was making this into a dairy, was it?
That was improving this. And then when that was finished, Mr. Collins said, the only job I've got for you now, if you want one, is to go with the cattle of the herd. Now, I previously didn't want that anyway, and I thought, well, he's done me a good turn, and temporarily I'll do him a good turn and do his herdsman job. And temporarily became 13 years.
So the milking was done at this side?
Here, and also, and then back 1952, yeah, 51, 52, we moved up to the, what was the Royal Corps Signals. They had a new parlour up there.
Yeah. And the buildings round the other side here?
These are all for store cattle. Dry cattle stores, you know.
See, when
And the bull pens were there.
Oh, where that bare wall is now?
And your dad would remember a bull pen, shouldn't he?
Yeah.
He tossed it. He got that one with the one horn.
What, one with one horn got him?
Well, there was a drain down here, and a drain down here, and this one bull that got one horn, sort of got, I think it was Norman Savoury, I think it was.
yeah,
He got down in the trench there, and the old bull was there, and luckily he got this one horn that kept part of the head under gutter, and the other horn down on this.
because when we first come up here, they used to do milking in there, the milking along
That's
there.
it, we used to milk both sides.
And Norman Savoury, I think the dairy was down that end.
That's
So
right.
Norman Savoury and myself was out getting ready for the evening milking. Isabel come out and she was shouting, "Oh darling, oh darling." Me and Norman Savoury was going, "Oh darling, oh darling." I saw the rough side.
Yeah, well, on one occasion when she said, just round by the house, and Arthur Hayes was in there, but upstairs, And she said, "Are you there, darling?" Arthur said, "Yes."
Oh dear.
Yeah.
There's the dry cows or beef?
No, there was milk. His terrace had, you know, the milk. At one time that we milked that side and this side.
Mhm.
Of course, then it was all tubular stuff, Alpha Laval, vacuum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You milk the high yielders by hand?
Well, we had a few very high producing cows, and they were milked 3 times a day because they would fill a churn. They would give you 10 gallons of milk a day. God, obviously later in lactation they dropped off, obviously, but they were high producing cattle.
But why do it by hand and not by machine?
Well, for
I suppose you had all the machines to clean just for 3 or 4 cows, would you?
What would happen, you see, as the milk yield dropped, getting towards the end of the lactation, you might put them on a machine, but they were so used to being hand milked that
they responded well to that.
They were.
How often did you do the TB testing then?
Well, I think it was, if you were clear, I think it was just about 9 months, I think. I can't quite remember, it's so long ago now.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so long ago.
Was there a problem in this area?
Not too bad. But, I mean, it's gone downhill since. And I personally, I think it's because of the badger population.
Yeah.
I may be wrong, but...
Well, they both get it, don't they?
And that only lasted about 5 or 6 weeks, I think. And he said, "I'm awfully sorry, Roy." He said, "But that's it," he said, "as far as I'm... Unless you want to take on one of the herdsman jobs, work with the dairy," he said.
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, all right, Miss Scott," I said, "you've done me a good turn." So I said, "Temporarily, I'll work for you," didn't I?
Yeah.
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 13 years.
13 years temporary job, working with the cows. Did you get to like that?
I did in the end, but my pet thing about it was the veterinary side of it. Yeah. Then in the end, I ended up doing it on my own. You know, things change.
Yes.
But,
Well, what do you mean doing it on your own?
well, the other chap that they cut down on the labour side, you know.
Yeah.
And
So you would be doing everything then, including the veterinary side, looking after them.
yeah.
Yeah. So did you learn a lot about cow health?
Well, you do.
Yeah.
You learn a lot.
Yes.
A lot. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what they get. I don't even know what.
Oh, they get a multitude of things.
I know you have to sometimes put a pipe into them to let the gas out. Did you have
Stab
to do that?
them, yeah.
Yes.
I done that once for Major Coville with one of his Jersey cattle.
Yeah.
And he said, "Is that what you do?" So he said to someone, they said, "Oh, that's very good. What do you do, Major?" He said, "Well, you stab them just through here." And I said, "No, you don't. That's a kidney, that side." It was the wrong side. No, I said, "You stab them, that's you stab a kidney."
Dear me. And how did you learn? Just by talking to the vet and by watching the other
Yeah, I got on
herdsmen?
very well with the vets.
Yes.
That was Day and Rogers from Stamford in the Vale.
Oh yes. There was still a day there. I think, as a vet. Yes, recently. Yeah.
Yeah, I got on very well with them. No problem at all.
Yes. So that was 13 years working with cows. And then? This is a very varied life, isn't it? Really?
Pardon?
It's a very varied life. Very
Yeah.
varied working life.
And, of course, well, I've got to get this right way round, haven't I? Yes. Yes, before, oh yeah, I've missed out. Before working for Incan and Fruins and went on to this other, I became a sort of a butler sort of thing, you know.
Oh yes.
Well, my wife was a cook at
Yeah.
Bampton
We'll get to that,
Manor,
yes.
and I met her when I was on leave actually, and she was cooking. In the end, they needed a butler. The butler that was there, Peter Parlafleet, a Dutchman. He was going to leave, and I went up to Pusey House then for a bit of training.
Yeah.
And then come back to Bampton Manor. Yeah, come back to Bampton Manor after that.
Yeah. So okay, let's go back. How did you meet Mary?
Well, I met Mary. She was at the cricket field.
Yeah.
She at the cricket field.
Where was that?
Back of the
cemetery.
Out by the surgery in the cemetery. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, one chap said, I went up there, you know, on leave, and one chap there said, nice girl up there.
I've seen a picture of her. She's a very pretty girl.
He said, lovely girl up there. I said, yeah, up there. Oh yeah, I said, I know what I'll do, but ask her the time to yeah, I'm going to ask her the time. And anyway, I asked her the time, got chatting with her, and I said, any chance of seeing you in a fortnight's time? Because I was going down to Salisbury to stop with my aunt and my cousins for a week, or fortnight actually. And I said, oh yeah. And that was it then, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Then Mary obviously she left the manor and I left the manor.
So she was a cook at the manor when you met her.
Yeah.
Yes.
At the manor, yeah.
Yes. And was it Mary that told you there was a vacancy for a butler?
Well, it was Mary that told me that Pete Parlafleet was leaving.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, try anything once.
Amazing. Yes.
Different world.
Absolutely different world. It couldn't be more different, could it?
No comparison at all.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, well.
Well, Mary was there. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I left before Mary did actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you? Okay, tell me, because I don't really know a lot about being a butler. What did you have to do?
Well, you name it, you sort of do.
I mean, you're welcoming visitors. I can imagine you doing that.
Yeah, you sort of serve at the table and wait at the table and all sorts of things. Look after the silver and the drinks and the tea trays and then all the guests that come, make sure that all their clothes are pressed and the bathrooms are clean and tidy. Oh, yeah.
Are you the in the sort of hierarchy of servants? Are you at the top of that?
The top.
So
That's
you're
the
seeing
top.
that everybody else does their job properly.
Yeah, that's right. But then there's another sort of pecking order from the kitchen and that sort of thing.
Oh, is there? Okay.
Yeah.
2 pecking orders then.
Well, it's all the way down really.
Yeah.
Sort of upstairs, downstairs.
Yeah. Yeah. But it would be really interesting. You would learn about drinks. You would learn about silver. You would learn about antiques. Yeah.
Oh, we had.
And did you have some visitors which were high up in the pecking order, and some visitors which were not so high up in the pecking order?
What servants?
No, visitors.
Visitors. We had a rich and varied, I should think. You know,
Yeah.
some of the. Dear me, my memory.
Your memory's fantastic.
The best one was Prince Bernhard of the Netherlands, as far as I was concerned.
Yes. Yes.
Because he used to actually pay me more than the count, I think, when he came.
Did he?
Stick the notes in.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of the Dudley Ward families and all that sort of thing.
Uh-huh.
And the
Yeah.
Hornsbys, you see.
Okay. Yes.
And Susan that married the Duke of Moult.
Oh, right.
Susan.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was nice. A lot of people didn't like Susan, but I got on very well
Yeah.
with Susan.
Very interesting glimpse into another world then, from looking after the cows to looking after the manor. What was what family was there then? What family was at the manor then?
Paul Munster.
It was the
German.
Munster family, yes. Okay.
House of Hanover, sort of thing.
And it was Countess Munster, wasn't it, that redesigned the gardens? Is that right?
She was the main one for the garden.
Yes.
She had what she wanted for the garden. Of course, it was her sister that was at Pusey House with the Hornsbys, you see.
Oh, was it? I didn't know that.
That was how I come to be up there to begin with.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you didn't have anything to do with the garden at the manor?
Oh no. Then I had another sudden change. I left there and I had a sudden change. And I went to Smith's Industries.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
That's at the outskirts of Whitney, isn't it?
Yeah. 11 years there.
Oh, were you? They made instruments, didn't they?
Oh
for
yeah, all sort of, yeah.
Clocks and
Yeah, all sort of
speedometers
car
and
heaters
things.
and instrument, all
Yeah.
different instruments. Yeah.
Did you cycle?
No,
You had a car then?
I went by car or by bus.
All right.
Well, I went by car mainly until the chap stopped for some reason or other. We had to go by bus. And I thought, well, that'd be nice. I can just come out of the house and jump on a bus. Well, it didn't quite work like that. I got on the bus and sat down, and someone said, I sit there. Pardon? I always sit there. Oh. So up I got, and he sits down. Get by to the old police houses in Bampton, sat down. This woman said, I always sit there. I thought, what the hell have I moved into? Then further along the road, a woman said, I always sit there in that shade.
That's amazing.
So in the end, coming back or going again, I just sat where I liked, and I wouldn't move for anybody.
Yeah, quite right.
Yeah, I always sit there. I thought,
Isn't
what have
that
I moved into?
Isn't that amazing? Tell me a bit more about being a butler. Tell me if you enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah, it was completely different. There was bits of it I didn't particularly like, but that was how
Yeah, that's how a job
things
is.
were, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
Sort of a pecking order, yeah.
yeah.
But we did have lots of visitors, I must admit. But one thing that when like the jackdaws and that were nesting,
Yeah.
they all came, would have me to go up round the oak trees and get the jackdaw eggs. Because in Germany they have them hard boiled,
Good heavens.
like do quail eggs
Quail
or
eggs,
something.
yeah. Yes.
And
And
that
was that your job?
what to go
up the tree and get the jackdaws eggs?
Oh, go up the tree and get the jackdaws eggs, yeah. Yeah, they in actual fact, I mean, they look really nice when they're being cooked. You almost see the yolk through the albumen, you know.
Yeah,
You can
yes.
almost see the yolk through the thin shell. But,
Yes.
they always have them in the centre of the table.
Extraordinary. You wouldn't be allowed now. Health and safety.
Oh
yeah,
no, health and safety. Oh, that's
No,
that's
you have the butler climbing up a tree.
Yeah,
That's a fantastic job.
and you used to have to make sure that the in the stokehold, the boiler and that was fully maintained. You know, lots
Yes.
of heat.
Yes.
Or else the old count, he would probably have a cold bath or something.
Oh yes.
On one occasion, we'd had lots of water been run off with visitors, and the Dutchman was still there, and the count was in the bath. And the water was sort of tepid, you know. Ooh, that wasn't good going at all. So he said to Pete Parlefleet, he said to, get me some so and so water, you know, hot water. So Peter comes out and gets a couple of kettles of boiling hot water, poured in his drink. And the count said, don't you pour that boiling water over my feet. Wow, the Dutchman Parlefleet said, he said, you bloody fool, he said, don't you pour that over my feet. And Pete Parlefleet said, you call me bloody fool, I pour it over your bloody head.
Is that when you got the sack?
No, he's going to leave anyway. And we had, well, in actual fact, we had 2 St. Helena girls there as well.
Yes.
And
From St. Helena.
Peter,
Girls from St. Helena. Yeah.
actually, Pete Parlefleet ended up marrying one of these girls.
Yes.
And then he moved to Laycocks at other side of Abingdon. Double barrel, I can't think of it.
Dorchester on Thames is the only place I can think of.
Never mind.
Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, he moved out to
Yeah.
work for the Laycocks.
Yeah. At what point, because I always think that I associate your working life part of it with the other manor house, Weald Manor House. Is that right?
Oh, the only thing I used to do there, I'd perhaps do a drinks party for the hunt, and perhaps
Oh yeah.
do some drinks like that.
Because Francis worked.
Francis worked there
Yes.
for a long time.
Yes.
Yeah, years Francis worked there.
Did he?
But I used to pop over and do odd little bits if needs be.
Yeah.
That was only after Mary was cooking there, and we'd moved from Churchview down to this house. Well, no, we'd moved from Sunnyside, didn't we?
Where's Sunnyside?
Just
Next
by
door, but one
Janet.
to me.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, we'd moved from there to where I am now.
Yes.
You see.
Yes.
But that's when I started doing jobs.
Over there.
But not only that, after leaving the farm, one thing or another, I did go as a school caretaker.
Oh, did you?
Went for a school caretaker for
Here?
Yeah.
Yeah. When the school was just by Sanford Field?
No. At the new
At
school.
The new school.
school.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there as a school caretaker. And then I decided to had a chance to go back to sea again, but fishing for a living. So Mary and I chatted about it. So I moved down to Cornwall. I went sea fishing for a couple of years there.
Did you?
And then the fish stocks dried up.
Yeah.
But
Did Mary move down there with you?
no, she didn't. And the
She
thing,
said,
both the children were at school here, Whitney, and you couldn't
yeah.
suddenly help you because we didn't really know what the situation would be fish stock wise.
Yeah.
But as it happened, I mean, the fish stocks gradually depleted that much that
That was overfishing at that time.
overfish. That was
Yeah.
why overfishing.
Yes.
Then loads of boats are on the market for sale.
Yeah. Did
And
you miss the sea then? You must have missed the sea.
It took, I think it took nearly 2 years to sell the boat we had.
Really?
Yeah. And I think I've got an idea. It went up to Scotland to fish.
Yeah. Yes. What year are we in now? Is that
Well, it's going back up to now where it 79.
Yes.
79.
Yeah.
And then I come back, and the day I come back, I was over at the manor.
Weald
And,
Manor?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Mr. Mac come down. He said, "Do you want your job back?" The same day as I come back, I said, "I'm not going to push another man out of his job." No, he said he wants to leave. That was Ken Mullis.
Oh yes. He was a plumber, wasn't he?
Yeah,
I remember as a plumber,
he wanted to leave.
Yeah.
And I suppose his job picked up, you know.
Yeah.
And I went back to caretaking.
Right.
And I had that
Okay.
job and 5 or 6 other gardening jobs as well.
Did you?
Things
Yeah.
like that. So
Yes, I always remember you had about 6 to gardens that you were keeping
I was
going.
only ever unemployed 4 hours.
Is that?
That was when the brick company went bust, and I went to the farm at Weald because I got a job. Went bust at 8 o'clock in the morning. I got a job starting work at 1 o'clock.
That is remarkable.
That brilliant
isn't it?
hours. That's
Isn't
the only
that
time I've ever been
fantastic?
unemployed.
Yes. That is amazing compared to now. Fantastic. And such variety as well.
Oh, plenty of variety.
Yeah.
You
Especially-
told me a tale once which made me laugh. Something to do with, I think were you doing the garden for George up at his house? Or was it some friends of theirs staying, and she was horrified to find carrots grew in the soil or something?
Yes. That was I'd been up to the top of the garden and dug up some carrots, absolutely beautiful carrots, because they'd had all the lawn clippings that had been composted and everything, and these beautiful carrots, absolute gems, you know. And she said, this girl Rita said, "What beautiful carrots, Roy?" I said, "Yeah, yes." She said, I said, "Would you like some?" She said, "Yes." "Where did you get them from?" I said, "I've just dug them up from the washing from." "Oh, I couldn't eat those."
How amazing.
That is true.
That is
She said, "I couldn't eat those."
Extraordinary.
They were so good you could have crunched them up just as they were.
I can imagine the whole taste and everything. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. But because I always think of you as a fantastic gardener. You
No, I'm not. No,
No, but I'll tell you what it's about. You're very interested and you still
Yeah, but
try things out and everything.
Because people always said to me, "Oh, you're a gardener." I say, "No, I do gardening, but a gardener's got to be very knowledgeable. Like the naming every plant and this multitude of things to be good on the grafting, pruning, and all that sort of thing. I mean, I can do it, but I'm not specialising.
Yes, but
Specialised gardener.
you've tried so many things out, and I think that's a fantastic
I've tried
thing.
8 loads.
Yes, so you always try out different potatoes, don't you? I always go for the same one that's safe.
Yeah.
But you try out lots
My
of
success, I was a complete failure at everything.
Well, we're going to talk about gardening now.
Because one year I made 2 lots of cider. And, oh, golly. Basically the same mixture of apple.
Yes.
But, I mean, both strong, but one batch I got a kick like a mule. God!
Same apple, the same everything.
Same apple, just whether there's
Do
more
you
wild yeast or
Yes, something.
something
flies in,
different,
yeah.
sugar content.
Yeah. Do you use Camden tablets?
I used to use it when I was winemaking, yeah.
You don't use it on the cider.
No, I don't bother.
You don't bother. Oh, that's interesting because I've always used it. I'll try without now.
Well, I find if you use some domestos or something like that to sterilise your
don't.
drums
to
or your
sterilise it,
containers,
Yes, and that's good enough.
Mm.
And you don't put the Camden.
doesn't
tablet
kill all the bugs, but
in. No.
99.9 is there.
All right, something like that.
No, all rubbish.
But you used to win all the prizes. I know this because I've looked at the cups. You used to win all the cups on the gardening club.
I won quite a few cups. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're being modest. You used to win. Your name is on a lot of them, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah, I won quite a few cups, I must admit.
And are you mostly interested in flowers or vegetables?
Well, I was always interested in vegetables, really,
Yeah.
because my father gave me an allotment when I was a garden, I should say, when I
Yeah.
was 13,
Yes.
about half the size of this room. If you
It's a
call
good
it
way to
garden.
start, though. Yeah.
Well, it's mainly for radishes and
Yeah.
things like that, lettuce,
Peas. Yeah.
anything like that.
Yeah. Right now, I want to ask you how to grow celeriac because I've never managed. Mine are always about as big as a pigeon's egg, and
Well-
full of slugs.
Right. Oh, well, I mean, celeriac, it needs planting early in the spring,
So what's early?
really early as you possibly can if you've got a greenhouse, and then
So start it off in the greenhouse.
start them off in the greenhouse, and then transplant them in the greenhouse into,
Oh really?
yeah, give them a good start. That makes all the difference.
Okay. And do you plant when you plant them out finally? Do you put them quite way up in the soil? Or
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
That makes a difference, does it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll see if I can do better this year because I've
Oh,
never
no.
managed a good crop of celeriac yet.
So far, you're right, so far, but, you know.
Pardon, just show me that again.
But so sort of.
Oh, is that far?
yeah.
I thought for a minute you were
30.
saying you grew them that big.
Oh no, good no. I'm not in the pub now.
I think
No.
no, that far
no,
apart.
I'm not very. Well, I'm never very big, you know.
Big as a grapefruit.
Yeah, grapefruit. Oh, a bit bigger grapefruit.
Yes, that's fantastic. No, I've never managed that.
Very lovely.
Yes, it's a good vegetable, isn't it?
But I find really, when you prepare them and get them ready, I mean, really, and you're throwing the best bits away, really. Those roots, because they're the succulent pieces. Because inside the celeriac, it begins to be rather more like pith, isn't it? It's not.
It can be, yeah.
Mm.
So, but that's a lot of cleaning if you're going to
Oh,
clean
it's a
it
lot
every.
of cleaning, you see.
It is,
but,
isn't it?
So, but I mean, mainly you just cut all that off,
Yeah.
and the top off, and
Yes.
clean it as quick as you can.
But your garden is interesting because it's got a ditch going near it, hasn't it? So it must be always moist.
Oh, well, although now that ditch has been cut off, I mean, it's still
Okay.
there, but
Yeah.
the water level's always about the same anyway.
Yeah.
And at the bottom of the garden there's a reservoir of water.
Yes.
But you can have a pump in there, you see. But, I mean, my garden would never suffer from drought
No.
because the water table's there, you see.
And it's also quite shady, isn't it? Because you've got trees there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And yet it's still a very good-
I'd rather see the back of those, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Chestnut and things.
Are they? Well, you might see the back of them because they've got
Well,
an illness, haven't they? A
you can
disease.
see they're progressively getting worse each year
Yeah.
now.
Yes, I'm sorry about that, but I mean, from your garden's point of view, it's not so bad.
No, it would be beneficial to me if they
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
Because when the chap came down to prune them a bit and cut some back, I said, "Can you do it from the root?" He said, "No, I'm not allowed to."
Yeah. Yeah.
They did one.
Did they? Yeah.
They did one. They cut right down.
Yeah.
But
And moles you have, don't you? Do you have moles?
the moles in my garden, I find, die of old age. Die of old age.
So you just let them be, do you? Because they drive
Well,
you
I mean,
mad.
I catch some. I mean, of course, they've got these runs that have been there for years and years deep down, you see. And
That's what I've got.
they run under the house from the neighbour's garden and that, you see.
Yes. Yeah.
They die of old age.
Well, mine come in from the field.
Mm.
They have a
Oh,
lovely
they
tiny-
would.
Yeah, they have a lovely
Same with
tiny-
mine, you see. Yeah. On one occasion, I mean, when I was living in Cornwall, Penny told me, she said, "Caught the mole, Dad." I said, "Oh, caught the mole. Oh, that's good. What did you do with it?" She said, "I let it loose in the back garden." She set it free in the back garden.
Very nice.
Of course, while I was down there, I wouldn't worry about the garden anyway.
Yes. Yes. No, they drive me up the wall. That and mice that eat things. Slugs. Can't do anything about them.
No.
And the damper you are, the more slugs you get. More compost to put, the more slugs you
Oh,
get.
exactly. Yeah.
You just got to accept nature, haven't you?
Exactly. Yeah.
Mm.
Trouble is, see, with gardens, you're so confined. You've got things all on top of them. Not like being in a big open field.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
When it gets condensed and all crammed together.
Yes.
Yeah.
We should talk a little bit about Bampton generally, because you've been here since you were a young thing,
Oh yeah.
and you'd have seen changes.
Oh,
Apart from
the-
anything else, you've seen 11 pubs or more,
Yeah.
down to 4. What else?
Well, we've lost a saddler.
Yeah.
We've lost 2 shoemakers. Well, one was a shoemaker and one was just a cobbler. 2 of those.
I remember Mr.
Greengrocers,
Money. Who was the other
yeah.
one? Who was the other cobbler?
There was Money and
Yeah.
Cyril Clark.
Oh,
And then there was the greengrocers we've lost. Antique shop, which is Taffy Jones, so Taffy Jones. And then we had Arthur Hill.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. That was an amazing shop.
Oh, yeah, he never sell anything out the window.
He wouldn't sell it if he couldn't reach it. Yeah.
But Jones, Taffy Jones, he had all his antique furniture and things in where four shoes have got there, where she's got her bungalow there.
Yes. Yeah.
It was next to that. It was a wood. It used to belong to the school as a woodwork. In there,
Right.
through that little footpath
Yeah.
there.
I can remember Doug Reed saying that there were lots and lots of. He said there were little farms, and you talked about somebody. Was it one of Di Horn who had a farm about as big as this room? But he said there were lots of little tiny farms around.
Well, there were quite a lot of lots of small farms with a couple hundred acres, perhaps 100 acres.
Yeah.
There were quite lots,
Yes.
lots and lots.
Well, Mount Owen Farm, I remember.
Mount Owen,
I don't know how big that was. Not very big.
no,
Yeah.
there's I don't know really. I suppose just most of them were perhaps just over 100 acres. I should think so.
Yeah, yeah.
The Arthur Gerrans and
Yes.
things. And I wish I could remember a lot of them now, 'cause, I mean, a lot of them was real characters as well.
Do you remember Mrs. Solis?
Yeah, Emmy Solis.
She had a memory like an encyclopedia.
Yeah. And her mother,
What, Mrs. Solis' mother?
Mrs. Bunce, yeah, oh, Mrs.
I never
Bunce.
knew her. I know the name. I never knew her.
Because at the back of that pub where they were, there was a thin wooden bridge there
Yeah.
at the back of the pub.
Yeah.
And being small boys, she'd knock on the door, and she'd come to the door, and we'd run away and say, "What do you want?" We said, "Can we have a drink of water, Mrs. Bunce?" and run away like Billy.
There's still a little bridge down there now. Yeah.
Of course, we lost the fish and chips. There was shepherd, poor shepherd, with his horse and cart, with the old cooker on there, and he'd go off to Aston and do fish and chips, end up in Bampton.
And a horse and cart
And
selling
horse
fish and chips.
Yeah. Buckingham took over then, old Jane Buckingham, because they came up and she'd have her cooking equipment up there by the post office, where the post office is now.
Yes.
You know. And if things didn't go quite right, we just go and squeeze the pipe, because it was lit by acetylene, you see. So if things didn't go right, we squeezed the pipe and it going dark down and run away.
See, they think children are naughty now. You hear this?
Squeeze the pipe.
Yeah. Amazing.
Well, you got to do so. Well, we didn't smash windows or anything, but we
Yeah, but you got up
had
to
a bit of
mischief.
fun,
Well.
yeah.
Yes.
Never
Yes.
done anybody much harm.
No, I don't think so.